Welcome to a new video in my home automation series, and I'm reviewing Sonoff products again, and I have to excuse myself because these two products have been sitting on my desk for some time now, and because I didn't have the time to do the review. Obviously summer is here, so I've less time than usual. So these are two new wireless products, new, let's say, wireless replacements from Sonoff, because this is a temperature and the humidity sensor, and this is a button. Both of them communicate over Zigbee, so they work with, let's say, the NSPanel Pro, which I have here, but they also work with the Zigbee bridge. They also work with Sonoff, the iHost. But they might as well work with any, Zigbee host. So if you have Home Assistant or if you have an Alexa device, it will work with them as well. But today I'm going to focus on Sonoff now. And I would say that these are replacements or the newer version of the existing temperature and humidity sensor and the existing button that we have for such a long time now. And well, as you can see, they have changed the form factor. So instead of rectangular, now it is round. It's a little bit more thicker, but it's not significant, and the mounting option is different as well. But other than that, it's Zigbee stuff, and I expect a similar functionality from both of them. So I don't think that we are going to get huge differences in functionality. But again, this is a temperature and the humidity sensor, so it measures temperature and humidity, and this is a button, so it responds to button presses. And even the previous version responded to like single, double, long presses, so I think this is going to support that as well. The only reservation I had with the older models is probably it had a worse battery life than some of the competition, so I'm hoping that they managed to enhance on this one. But obviously I won't be able to verify this because, as I said, I received them about a couple of weeks ago, and I've already started using them about now. And before we continue, I just quickly wanted to go through the website. So as you can see, this is the Zigbee button. That's the first one that I wanted to review. And right off the bat, I can see here that they claim that they have a 5-year battery life. Yeah, obviously that would depend on the use and some other factors, but I think that would be probably definitely better than the current one. As you can see, it responds to all these free events. And yeah, they already mentioned here about the battery life, which I think that was probably the biggest issue. Well, not really the issue for me, but something that if I want to say anything negative of the older product, it was probably the battery life. And I also have to see what type of what type of battery they use, because some of these special batteries I find really difficult. I find it really difficult to get in sort of like a local shop. So this one uses, the one of them uses CR2477, and the other one, I'm hoping at least it's the same, 2477. Okay, so these are the new batteries that I need to stock now. Okay, this web page is jumping around. So yeah, it supports these presses. We are going to see it later on. And then, yeah, you have all these ideas how you can use them. And by the way, as you can see, it's $9.90, and yeah, and then you can buy with some of the other products together. So this is how much it costs if you buy them from IT directly. And in the video description, I'm going to have an 8% discount code if you buy it from IT, and I think there is a 10% discount code if you buy 2 of them together. And the other product is the temperature and the humidity sensor. So it talks about the package and the various options, and I think, yeah, it mentions here the CR2477, and I have went all the way to the bottom of the screen, but here they also say that the battery life is about 4 years, and then the probably, I mean, I can't tell whether they are using a separate sensor, but here the temperature accuracy advertised to be 0.02%, and the relative humidity plus minus 2%. Sorry, 0.2 degrees and plus minus 2%. I think that's better than the previous model. And again, you have some couple of ideas how you would be able to use them. Oh, SHT40. So that's I think SHT40 is the temperature and the humidity sensor. So you can look it up in the data sheet, but to be honest, I forget what the old model used. So yeah, at least we have the same batteries, and this is one of these really fat cells that I still find it a little bit difficult to find in, you know, just general local shops, but you can always order them online. And so this is 1090, but again, in the video description you will see an 8% discount code, and also there is 10% discount if you buy 2 of them, if I remember the details correctly. Okay, so that's all cool. Let's have a quick look at the devices. So both of them come in this orange box, and these orange boxes are the new boxes for Zigbee devices, and you get the usual, you know, multi-language sort of leaflet document, and yeah, it's all fine. I don't think it's going to be anything really special about this that we wouldn't know anyway. So that's one for the 01P and the 02P. So the button, actually they are this way around. So what you get in the box is you get this special sort of like mount or cradle, which is a power coded piece of metal, because both of them, so they use the same mounting option. So this is magnetically sticks onto this, let's say, cradle or lock, and then you can put this on the wall using double-sided tape, or you can put a screw through the middle of it, and then that's how you put it onto the wall. I think it's a smart option. I like these metal things, or the magnetic mounts. I think IKEA started with it when they introduced the drought-free products. They had this metal base and the magnetic device. Yeah, works fine. I have no issues with that. I like this orange. I think it looks cool. It's a vivid color, but still it's not like a very pinky or something. I think it's probably more of a natural color, like brick walls and that sort of stuff. Okay, so on the device itself, as you can see, we have a button for pairing or resetting the device. And of course, on the sensor, there is nothing. On the button, there is a button. And that's it. And we can have a sticker that we remove. So that's how we turn on the devices. And you can see there is a small light LED. So what I'm going to use my NSPanel Pro, and I say add devices and start pairing. So they should be in pairing mode already. And maybe I'll prop up the screen so you can see it a little bit better. But it looks a little bit dim for some reason. I'm not really sure why. But we are going to add it, and at the same time I'm going to start the screen recording on my phone as well. And you can see that we have a switch, and we have a TNH sensor, so temperature and the humidity sensor. So I'm just going to do finish. I think you can probably see this screen a little bit better now. So this is how my temperature and the humidity sensor looks like. And of course, if you would wait, we would see the plot for temperature and also humidity. And then on the switch, I pressed it a couple of times, so it already shows you that there was like a click event and a double click event. I mean, obviously this is like an input device, so you can't really do much here on the screen. But the temperature and the humidity sensor appears exactly the same as how the old one looks like. But yeah, that's fine. This is how I expected that to be. And let me jump into my eWeLink account so we can see these devices as well. In the eWeLink account, so yeah, you can see this temperature and humidity device. I still probably have to rename this, so it has a more meaningful name. But again, if we would wait, we would have a history record in the temperature and the humidity, and then you can do the history as well. So you can look at a day view, a month view, and a half-year view. And I'm not sure if I have scrolled through that in the beginning of the video, but then the website said that when we looked at the website, it said that it stores half a year of data. And we also have an export button, so you can export the data into a CSV file. Okay, and then we have one for here, the humidity and the temperature. So I think that's nice. The only thing which I'm noticing new is that this temperature is appearing in red for some reason. It is really hot. I don't think it's 27 degrees at home, but it is fairly warm. It was at the windowsill, so probably picked up some extra heat from the sun. And if I go into the device details, I can assign it to a location, so a room, and I can change the temperature unit. And okay, so this is the comfort level setting, which I think is new. At least it wasn't available when the first temperature sensor came out. So you can see it's you can have it on a manual setting or an auto setting. So what is a comfort level for a baby or clothes store or bookstore or wine store or cigar store? Actually, that's not a bad functionality. I like it. And then yeah, so you have the temperatures for the comfort, and I guess we can also switch on an alert. So probably should alert me because we are way beyond 27. Well, according to this, we are above 27 degrees. And you can do the same for temperature and humidity as well. Okay, press the button once and save. And the rest of it is just like device ID and the firmware version, which I can't really do anything with. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a temperature and the humidity sensor which stores the information and it shows you graphs, and then it can also, like, you know, display these readings in red if it is configured that it's outside a comfortable range. I don't remember if we had a compensation previously for the temperature and the humidity. If I compare it with another temperature sensor, which is showing 24.6, which I think is more realistic, then this is definitely showing more. But again, as I said, it was in the windowsill and I was, like, you know, handling it. So probably it will take some time to settle it back to let's say, real temperature. And this is the button. So again, we have the history of the various records, what happened with it, and then, yeah, and I click it, then it shows me that it got clicked. Maybe if I double click, it's double clicked. If I long press it, then now it's long pressed. Okay. And if I go into the settings, I can again assign it to a location, and that's pretty much what I can do with it. Yeah, I mean, you don't expect a lot to be, you know, how you would use an input device. So what I want to do is, let me go into the, not here, but let me go into the scenes. So just to see what we can do with this device. So obviously the button is going to be the trigger. So let me start with that one. And that's the wireless button. Obviously I can create a scene based on whether this is clicked, double clicked, or on pressed. That's fine. That's what I expected. And for the temperature and the humidity sensor, obviously you can create scenes whether the temperature goes above a certain threshold or goes below a certain threshold, and based on the temperature comfort range, whether it's hot or cold. So that's actually when it goes either above the maximum limit or below the minimum limit. So at the moment it is well, it is hot, because that's why it is displaying the values in red. I think it's a nice feature. I mean, maybe it's easier to just create a scene on the hot or a cold, and then you set these conditions on the device rather than coming back to the scene and trying to find the scene and then changing the temperature that way, especially if you're trying to use multiple scenes for the same condition. It's a nice shortcut. I think it's good. And to be honest, that's pretty much it, because these are not actionable devices, so there is nothing really on the trigger side that I would be able to set. So now I've removed both of these devices from my eWeLink account, and I want to see how they perform in Zigbee to MQTT. So I'm just going to press and hold the reset button on both of them. Okay, so that one is already blinking, and that one is already blinking. So hopefully we just have to wait for a couple of seconds for this one to appear. Oh, and both of them are appearing, so it will take a couple of seconds for the system to look them up and determine and identify them. And I'm really hoping, oh yeah, okay, so it looks like that one of them is supported and maybe the other one is not supported, so I might just have to update. No, both of them are supported, so you can see they even show up with the correct name, so SNZB 01P and 02P. So one is the button, and that's the button, and it is supported. Obviously it is an end device, I didn't expect anything else. And then it looks like that it's exposing quite a few information. So what is the battery percentage, what is the latest action? Oh, we have a separate indicator where the battery is low, and even shows the voltage and the link quality. So that's really nice. And if I click, then yeah, we have an action which either says single, or I guess double, or long press. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think this is exactly how the old one worked. Maybe that only had a battery percentage, it didn't have a voltage and not a separate battery low. But yeah, you can build an automation based on the actual battery percentage value, or whether the battery low is, I would assume that it would say a true once the battery runs low. But yeah, it works fine. I'm quite happy with that. And the other one is the temperature and the humidity sensor. So let's look at this device. Yeah, that's the temperature and humidity sensor. Again, it's an end device. It's a battery part, so obviously it's going to be an end device. And interestingly, it does not show the battery percentage. Maybe it would, yeah, it says it may take up to 24 hours before this being reported. Fair enough. And we have a temperature, and the humidity is already nicely converted to, you know, decimal places. And then I have to remember if the old Sonoff actually reported fractions of Celsius and the fractions of the humidity. But yeah, this one definitely does. So again, if you need, probably that's another reason to choose the newer model, because I think the precision or the accuracy of the sensor is definitely better than the old one. So if you need more precision on temperature or the humidity, you definitely have to go for the newer version. And then it has also a separate one for battery low and the voltage. So none of the battery and the battery voltage is reported at the moment, but again, it would just only take, well, it will take some time for this information to come through. But yeah, all the information that we need is here, and yeah, it is working. I did not expect anything else from these units, so I'm quite happy that they work. And again, one more thing I would mention, that we don't have a toggle here for Celsius and Fahrenheit, and maybe it would worth a try to set this up in the Sonoff ecosystem, change the temperature unit to Fahrenheit, and then see if we re-import into Zigbee MQTT or another MQTT system, whether it would start reporting the temperatures in Fahrenheit immediately. Because otherwise, if it doesn't do that, you might need to convert the temperature on, you know, your end on whatever device that is receiving this information. But again, I think they are good. They send all the information that I would expect, and yeah, they work in Zigbee to MQTT without any issues. So this is all what you can do with these devices. As I said, I expected the same functionality what we have seen for the previous temperature, humidity sensors and the buttons, and they pretty much deliver that. And I think just the fact that they are able to create a device which lasts much longer on the battery is something that I was looking for, and that's definitely a reason I would choose the newer version as opposed to the older version. Probably the only thing I would say is that both of these devices show the battery, the state of the battery, so it shows high, but as we can see in the scenes, there was no scene on the low battery. So I'm not sure how the application is going to report the low battery status. Maybe there is going to be a notification on the application, but again, if you are not using the app on a daily or even a weekly basis, because you have some scenes that just work automatically in the background, you might not notice that the battery in the device is running low. So this is why I like that if the battery state has an actionable trigger in the scenes, because then I can do something with it I mean, ideally, I would send notification to myself, but that's not available in eWeLink. But maybe you can, turn on a lamp or something. That would be an indication that you need to check on your batteries. So that will be all about these new Sonoff Zigbee temperature and humidity sensors and the Zigbee button. If you like this product, I'm going to leave purchasing links in the video description. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I have some discount codes if you purchase this device from iTeed. But that will be all for today. Thanks for watching and hopefully see you in the next video.